I do have a story that's actually about two different people, one of which is on this call, one of whom is on this call. But really, there's a theme that streams through these two stories, and that is reciprocity. And so the story that I'm sharing is kind of how I've been able to benefit and also give in this community. I actually joined probably like 5 or 4 years ago, took a hiatus, and then came back in. So this is kind of one of those, again, fluidity in this community, adaptability in this community is something that you will witness and see and experience. But my experience every time I join in is that I'm benefiting and I'm gaining something, and I'm always leaving with inspiration. And the first thing that I experienced was that I came in looking for someone that I could potentially collaborate with. So I had a very budding early stage idea to work on a project around videos and around transformation and social entrepreneurs. And I put out an ask into I think it was the Slack. So there's a Slack community in Coralus. I put out a very specific ask, and someone named Farron responded, and we hit it off. We had a Zoom call. I had no idea where this person lived. I had never spoken to Farron before, but we hit it off, and we had the same principles and the same values. And we actually collaborated on brainstorming, coming up with a vision and mission and tactics and strategies on how we would go about creating this project. And there was just so much synergy, and I was so surprised that I would be able to find someone in this community that could just zing, like it was as if we had known each other for many, many years. So that's an example of kind of the reciprocity of us wanting to support each other. I was also studying human design. That's still something that I do. So if you're interested, you can go to my link in the chat. But I was offering human design readings in exchange because I didn't have the money to pay her for her support. But she also was really glad to support me just because it was an interesting topic for her. So that's an example where it was a specific ask that I had put into the Slack community. And then a different one that I have is actually with Frankie, who did our land acknowledgement at the beginning. Frankie and I think initially met at Vicky's house. Vicky sometimes has Toronto community events at her home, and that's where I met Frankie. And then I think I've met Frankie twice now in person. But there was something that Frankie had mentioned in the last meetup that we had around gender and what exactly is our community kind of approach when it comes to different genders and different gender identities. And that really sparked an interest for me because it had been something that I was pondering. So since I was interested in the topic, I figured, why don't we open it up to the rest of the community in Toronto or whoever wants to come. So I reached out to Frankie and I said, hey, why don't we actually just organize a meetup? Why don't we just do a little Toronto gathering, or whoever wants to come? We even had someone from Montreal travel to Toronto to Vicky's house once. So it's not just for Torontonians. But that was kind of not necessarily a specific ask, but it was like, oh, it organically came up that we both were interested in this topic, and we decided to organize something together. So it was short, sweet, again, kind of aligned, very open in terms of we don't know what the answers are. We don't know what the community is going to say, and it's organic, and I love that. And so we're going to be hosting that, I think, in 2.5 weeks or so. So if you are in the region and if you're interested, definitely join us. We're going to do it outside in Sunnybrook Park. But there's really this like exemplifying energy of reciprocity, of give and take, of not even giving and taking in a transactional way in this community, but knowing that when I'm giving, it's actually in the end serving me as well, and it's serving all of us. And it's like moving us away from transaction and transactional relationship. And that's something that I really appreciate. So those are my stories that I wanted to share as an example of my experience in Coralus. Of course, there's so many more, but I had to choose like very short ones. So those were just the short ones.